And hello, our dear viewers, and welcome to a new edition of our program Africa Today. In today's edition, we are going to talk about the trade in Africa and the importance of increasing the level of cooperation among the African states. And we'll start with this report where Egypt has inaugurated the African Trade Center for the African Export-Import Bank in the new administrative capital, making it a new step in strengthening economic cooperation with the African countries.
Egypt has inaugurated the African Trade Center of the African Export-Import Bank in the new administrative capital, marking a new step in strengthening economic cooperation with African countries. The opening ceremony was held under the patronage of Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and attended by senior government officials and African ambassadors. The African Trade Center is a key Afrimex initiative designed to support intra-African trade and facilitate the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area. The center will serve as a hub for trade promotion, investment, business, networking and policy dialogue among African economies. Speakers at the event highlighted Egypt's strategic position as a gateway connecting Africa with global markets, emphasizing the role of the center in enhancing trade flows, supporting industrial development and attracting investment to the continent. The ceremony also included presentations introducing the African Trade Center in Cairo and its facilities, which are expected to host exhibitions, conferences and businesses meetings aimed at strengthening cooperation between African public and private sectors. In his address, the Prime Minister affirmed Egypt's commitment to supporting African economic integration and development, stressing the country's continued cooperation with the bank and African partners to promote sustainable growth. The inauguration at the African Trade Center reinforces Egypt's role as a regional trade and financial hub and represents a significant step towards deeper economic integration across Africa.
And to shed more light on the issue, we are very much delighted to be joined over the phone by Ambassador Ahmed Haggag, the former Assistant Secretary General of the Organization of the African Unity. Mr. Ambassador, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir. Sir, what is the strategic importance of the African Trade Center for Egypt and the African continent?
I think being established in the new capital has a certain significance. The new capital is equipped with all digital equipment which could help inter-African trade and outside markets, and it is highly digitalized, and this will assist the new center in performing its own new vision and task. So it is being also near to the all Egyptian ministries concerned and banks will give it a spur of expansion inside Egypt and in Africa itself.
Indeed. Ambassador Haggag, how will this center support the objectives of the African Continental Free Trade Area?
The Continental Free Trade Area, as you will remember,
yes,
was inaugurated during President Sisi presidency on the African Union in 2019, and this has more success than previous initiative introduced by African countries, African free trade and so on. There is a political determination to make a success of the new experiment. Not almost, all African countries adhere to the new system, which will be the spur of trade exchange between African countries and cancel gradual duties, custom duties on the exchange of trade. This will the UNCTAD, the United Nations agency dealing with trade in the world, envisage that if the African free trade area succeeds, it will promote $3 trillion a year of revenue and exchange between the African countries. Yes. So African countries have an incentive to increase trade among themselves.
Yes. Sir, how actually the African exporters and the small businesses benefit from the center's services?
First of all, this will constitute the biggest initiative with the high number of countries in the world. There is another similar examples in Europe and the United States, in Asia, but the potential in Africa is great. And it will cancel, as I mentioned before, most custom duties, and also cancel all legislative administrative hindrance. And it will lead to more employment and specialization. Most of African countries are dealing on in export in oil or minerals, so they have to diversify their portfolio in order to increase the trade with inside Africa itself, with the outside world, instead of depending on mainly on one commodity or few commodities.
Yes, indeed. So why was Egypt's new administrative capital chosen as the location for this trade center from your point of view, sir?
I think we will lucky to have the headquarters of the African Export-Import Bank here in Cairo. I remember this was inaugurated during the African Summit in Cairo in 1999. And it is a specialized bank which helped Egypt a lot and other African countries on financing trade among most African countries. It is in cooperation with major African Development Bank in Abidjan, which has not only African countries, but major trade partners like the United States, China, Russia, and Japan.
Yes.
So it is in close cooperation with the major world trade banks in order to increase and facilitate African trades in among different African countries. So we have an incentive to be determined in increasing inter-African trade.
Indeed, sir. Sir, what role will the Afrexim Bank play in facilitating the trade finance through the African Trade Center?
It is first will be it will be a center for information at the beginning.
Yeah.
And one of the hindrances of among business in Africa, including Egyptian business, is the lack of information about trade opportunities in other African countries. Although we are living in a digital world, as we still lack the sophistication to have a source of reliable information. And also African countries don't have enough information about the potentialities of trade in Egyptian business. So it will be a focal point for information. It will work hand in hand with the African Export and Import Bank and other trade councils in different African countries. So it is a beneficial one. We have to encourage and stuff it with the best brains in Africa.
Yes. Actually, sir, how can the center help reduce the trade barriers and boost the intra-African trade volume?
Can you repeat it again, please?
Yes, sir. How can the center help reduce the trade barriers and boost the intra-Africa trade volumes?
Introducing African business to each other, bringing enough and immediate information about the potentialities of trade or export, trying to liaise with the African Development Bank in Abidjan or the African Export and Import Bank here in Cairo. And we have to be more sophisticated in our trade than hitherto. So it is a center which will, I hope it will work hand in hand with Council of Trade in Africa in making a platform for accurate and immediate information about potentialities of trade in Africa.
Yes,
and this also will help outside African countries in increasing their investments in Africa. They will have facilities in a big market with a reduced rate than they are used to it till now.
Yes, indeed, Ambassador Ahmed Haggag, former Assistant Secretary General of the Organization of the African Unity. It was a real pleasure to listen to your precious input, Mr. Ambassador. Thank you so much. And moving on, where Africa continues to take steady steps towards deeper economic integration as countries across the continent work to expand the intra-Africa trade and strengthen the regional cooperation.
Africa continues to take steady steps towards deeper economic integration as countries across the continent work to expand intra-African trade and strengthen regional cooperation. The African Continental Free Trade Area, the largest free trade zone in the world by number of participating countries, aims to reduce trade barriers, facilitate the movement of goods and services, and create unified African markets. Supporters say the agreement has the potential to boost industrialization, create jobs, and enhance economic resilience. Financial institutions and development partners are playing a key role in supporting this transformation by providing trade finance, infrastructure investment, and capacity building programs for African businesses, particularly small and medium-sized enterprises. Experts stress that improving logistics, transport network, and digital trade systems remains essential for unlocking Africa's full trade potential. They also highlight the importance of policy coordination and private sector engagement in turning trade agreement into tangible economic gains. As African economies face global challenges, regional integration is increasingly seen as a strategic tool to drive growth, strengthen competitiveness, and promote sustainable development across the continent.
And Africa's role on the global stage continues to grow as the continent emerges as a key partner in international development, trade, and investment.
Africa's role on the global stage continues to grow as the continent emerges as a key partner in international development, trade, and investment. Home to some of the world's fastest growing economies and rapidly expanding young population, Africa offers significant opportunities in sectors such as energy, agriculture, manufacturing, and technology. Governments across the continent are focusing on a value-added production and economic diversification to reduce dependence on raw material exports. International partners have emphasized the importance of investing in Africa's infrastructure, education, and innovation ecosystems, viewing them as essential drivers of long-term growth and stability. At the same time, African countries are strengthening cooperation among themselves through regional institutions and joint initiatives aimed at addressing shared challenges including climate change and food security, sustainable development. Observers say Africa's future growth will depend on continued reform, stronger regional partnership, and increased investment that supports inclusive and resilient economies across the continent.
Well, with that, our dear viewers, we come to the end of this edition of our program, Africa Today. Many thanks for watching.